Hello, everybody. Welcome. If you're watching and you're an EMC TC, whether that's an ATC, an STC, a partner TC, a global account TC, a TC of any shape or form, welcome. If you're a partner SC out there as well at any one of our great EMC partners, thanks for being a partner and thanks for watching. One thing we wanted to give you a little bit of an update, Patrick and I, as we continue down our pre-sales transformation here at EMC, is that we know and are very aware of how important it is for us to make your life easier. We think that one of the biggest ways that we can make your life easier, which gives you more time to spend with customers, more time learning, more time engaging with our partners, and frankly having a better work-life balance, are things like tools and shared services. So what we thought we'd do today is a quick, short little update on a couple of things that are out there that are really cool, not everybody knows about, and give you a bit of a preview of where we're going next. So I'm here at the EBC, for those of you that recognize the location here in Hopkinton, but I could actually be pretty well anywhere because, of course, as customer-facing folks, we're always mobile. I've got my laptop, my iPad, and later on I'm going to show you something on an iPhone. The first thing I want to show you is something called vLab. vLab solves one of the big challenges for pre-sales, which is how do you get stick time? It's difficult. Not everyone has a lab in their basement. Maybe their loved ones don't exactly love all the heat and power that it generates and consumes. The other challenge, of course, is that not just hands-on time, but very often one of the most powerful things that we can do to show the sheer coolness of the EMC technologies and solutions we have is to demonstrate them. But very often it's difficult to get access to a lab. Labs are always very fragile. So for the last year or so, we've been working on something called Demo Cloud. The latest version of it has been launched as vLabs. vLabs are really easy to find. Portal.demoemc.com. You log in. It's a self-service portal. You can access it if you're an EMCer, but you can also access it if you're a Velocity partner. If you're at the Premier or Signature level, which is just a little bit of certifications, you can also access this if you're an EMC partner. When you log in, this is what you see. You can easily access this actually on an iPad or on an iPhone. It's not officially supported in that browser. That's what that yellow message across the top means. But it works well, and you can see a huge library of demos that exists out there. Atmos demos, Avamar demos, data domain environments, Greenplum environments, Homebase, all sorts of stuff from IIG. I could ask for an Isilon cluster. Give me an Isilon cluster. In fact, you know what? I'd like to play with Isilon. Isilon's really cool. So when I hit this little button here, it's going to say, look, what do you want to use this for? I'm going to give it a name. What's its purpose? Is the purpose of this thing a customer demo or an internal demo? Hang on. That's what happens when you use the unsupported browser. Hang on. All right. So the name, the purpose, in this case, the purpose is going to be, let's say, internal demo. And then I'm going to say what day do I want it and how long do I want it for. By default, it's going to be today. And then I could say how long do I want it. You can see it starts off at 3 days, but it could be longer. So we'll just say today on the 27th, which is great. And then I'm going to say reserve this. And when I say reserve, it's actually going to go off. Again, this is running on a vBlock. All on top of the vBlock is vSphere, of course, running out of the EMC data center in Durham. And you can see that now it's starting to fire up and provision this demonstration. What's really cool is I could do this in the coffee meeting 5 minutes before I go and visit the customer, and then boom, I'm going to get an email that says this thing is up and running. So off it goes, it's provisioning, and you can see that I've already got another demo that's been up and running and is going to expire in a day. I was actually using this to show how cool this is to Billy Scannell, and he said, wow, I could use this, and if he can use it, that means all of you can use it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to transfer over to my laptop, which is generally a better thing than the iPad when you're actually doing the demo. And if you go and you take a look at this demonstration, you can find out all sorts of information. You can find documentation. You can say I'd like a snapshot of its current state, all sorts of stuff. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm actually going to connect to this individual session. So when I connect in, this environment that we're using right here, notice also what's really cool is in collateral, there's a lab guide and documentation. So if you've got any questions, it's easy to find all the logins. You can contact the demo team if you have any questions. Here you can see that this demo environment includes a VNX, it includes an ESX host, it includes Virtual Center, and the purpose of this is to demonstrate how you use a VNX, how simple and easy Unisphere is, and how integrated we are with Virtual Center. So I'm going to open up an RDP connection. You can see this is now firing up, and I'm going to connect. And you'll see that it's a very rich experience. This is actually, for those of you that are familiar, obviously this is what the Unisphere UI looks like. I can do core storage provisioning tasks. I can do anything pretty well that I could do on a VNX. Hey, look at that. There's now an Isilon snap-in directly into Unisphere. That's pretty cool. You can see that there's an Atmos snap-in. So again, it's a great way to show our customers how this stuff works in reality. We can show them how Unisphere is deeply integrated with vCenter and all sorts of things like that. So again, simple, easy access to environments that give you stick time, allow you to demonstrate core value, and all of the business units within EMC are working hard to make sure that we're constantly updating all of these demos, which means you now have your life being a little bit easier. Now the next thing that I want to show you, and again remember, not only for EMCers but also for partners. So if you're a partner, all you need to do is go to the portal, type in your username and password and request a login, as long as you're a Velocity partner at the Premier or Signature level, boom, you're going to get approved and you can have access to this. When partners invest in EMC, we invest in you. So the next thing I wanted to show you are shared services. So what do I mean by shared services? So there's a lot of work that goes on in the life of a TC around quoting, supporting the rep as they do quotes, asking for support, whether it's competitive support or application sizing, all sorts of things along those lines. Increasingly, EMC's been investing in more and more shared services, and we're going to continue to do that. We think that roughly 20% of your time could come back to you, and you could use that for all sorts of things that are a lot more fun if you use these shared services more. Now, the challenge, of course, is that we're always mobile. So, how could these shared services work? Well, if you want to throw me that your iPhone, thanks, Patrick. If you take a look, there's a Salesforce client for your iPhone. You can, of course, phone into the PSCC and those sorts of things for some of those shared services. But if you take a look underneath the application, you can actually see a whole slew of things. There's the Salesforce client, one thing that is cool is that in the future, we're actually expanding this out so that there's even more through Salesforce Chatter. So let's see here, there it is. So the Salesforce mobile client today, in my experience, works. It has some bugs and issues. Personally, I typically am finding that for my real life work, I'm using the mobile client a little bit. I'm using my laptop a lot. And just to show you some stuff that I think is kind of cool is if I log into my view of Salesforce as a user, I can see, for example, all of these shared services, how much they're being used around the globe. So you can see, for example, that in the Americas, currently since January, there's been 905 requests for quote assistance. This can be as simple as going into the Salesforce app, opening up a case, and say, I want a quote. There's been a smaller number around things like help me with an RPQ or the technical help desk. I've got a question about how some of these things work, et cetera, et cetera. Again, on the mobile client, you can install the Salesforce.com client. You can just go under cases. You can open a case, and it all happens automatically. You can see here that APJ is currently in the lead. It's done more than the Americas and EMEA. And you can see that EMEA has perhaps the most robust, different use of the shared services. So there's also some other stuff in there that's pretty cool, like pre-sales performance analysis, using the power calculator that can be done by shared services, application solutions reviews. You can see there's been 4 since the beginning of January. And, Patrick and I are looking at this all the time. This is actually increasingly going to be one of the things that not only do we encourage for you, but we're going to encourage as one of the primary things to see how can a division, region, or country get more leverage out of existing resources. And that'll be actually one of the things that we make decisions on about how much we invest into given footprints going forward, because we know that these tools can help you. One thing that is cool about this, that's a very cute picture, by the way, of Patrick's daughter, is the next version of the Salesforce client for the iPhone, as we update our Salesforce instances EMC, we'll have Salesforce Chatter. Salesforce Chatter makes it even easier for you to collaborate with your sales brothers and sisters, the other specialty teams that are linked to opportunities, and be able to see it in kind of a Twitter/Facebook fashion, as well as sharing and collaborating on documents. So as you can see here, we're making big investments into shared services and tools. We're inspecting it on a regular basis. We're making it open for partners as well as for EMCers. And we think that these things, along with other improvements in the tools that you all use every day across all of the platforms and infrastructure, are ways that we can give back time so you can have better work-life balance, spend more time with customers, and spend more time getting down to that razor-sharp SE edge that we all need to have. Thanks, and we'll see you again soon.